I might not be the best at math, but I do know this. The longer you can fast, the less you have to worry about counting calories. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm just going to break right into this. I had somebody leave a comment on one of my past videos. Sophia here says, I do 60-hour consecutive fasts and try to eat 2,500 calories on my feed day, but sometimes I can only eat about 1,700 before I get full. If 1,700 or around 1,700 is what gets you satiated, if that's what gets you full, I would just stop right there. That's my personal opinion. Are you trying to put 2,500 calories down in one meal, or are you trying to spread that 2,500 calories out somewhere between 2 to 4, 3 to 5, 4 to 6 hours or longer? So for me, when I do my 65-hour fasts or my 90s or what have you, my refeeding window is anywhere between 3.5 hours to as long as 5.5, sometimes 6.5, and there are times it doesn't happen often, but I'll push it to 8 hours. It just depends what's going on socially, or, if I'm just cooking at home, that's usually going to be a shorter time frame. Sophia adds here, I try to force down more calories, but I just get really full. So right away when I read that, the thing that pops in my head is do not force the food down. I think doing something like that might mess with your psyche. It might affect the mentality of what you're trying to do. This one's different for me because I typically talk about overeating. I talk about eating way too many calories, in a specific day or a specific fast. And this situation is a little different because the concern is not eating enough. Sophia continues on and says, should I decrease my fasting hour for the sake of eating more calories in a 2-week period? My question to you is there a rush to lose X amount of pounds or excess body fat? This is something that I don't know how tall you are or how much you weigh, so I don't know how much excess body fat that you have, but I do know, at least from personal experience, is that even though I was quick to try to lose as much weight as I wanted to or I could, I think it's important to let yourself realize that there's no rush to do it either. I think if you can consistently fast and eat the amount that you need to eat to still stay in a caloric deficit, I think you're already onto the right path. If you're able to do these 60-hour fasts regularly at ease, that's great. That's more power to you. Being able to do that and still eat at a caloric deficit, I wish I could do that because even though I do 65s, I still eat way too much most of the time. My suggestion is if you do feel okay and you have a good amount of excess body fat to lose, I would keep going with the 60s if you physically feel fine. Obviously, you need to think about how your body feels, but not just your body, like how you feel mentally. If it's draining, if it's affecting other things, you need to take that into consideration, because at 1,700 calories, I'd imagine that you can do 48s or even 36s and still continuously lose weight in whatever period or time frame you're trying to do it in. But please keep me posted and let me know how it's going. If I had a little more info, it would be a little more helpful for me as well, but I think you already have something good going, so please keep me posted. So kind of continuing on with this, I posted a video, I don't know how many days ago now, but it was a refeed video where I ate my calories, kind of talked to the camera or my phone about what I was doing, what I was eating, and then you guys get to watch me eat and all that kind of stuff. So I want to go through this because Kevin commented and said, you're starting to scare me with the weighing of food. If you're fasting for long periods, why are you weighing food? It kind of goes against your previous messages. So let me try to explain this. Weighing food isn't new to me. It's something that I've done in the past. I will occasionally bring the scale out and just make sure I'm not overdoing it. You have to remember here, when I first started, I weighed 90 more pounds than I weigh today. The goals then are a lot different than the goals today. Back then, I would have had to eaten a lot more calories to maintain that 220-pound weight I was at. As I've lost weight consistently over time, that number to now keep myself at 130, that caloric number is a lot lower than it used to be. Not to mention the fact that I have gone from 90 hours of fasting to 65 hours. So at 90 hours, when I was doing 90-hour fasts, it allowed me to eat up to 8,800 calories and not gain weight. I think you all know, with all my episodes of Breakfast or people who have watched them, I can't take down 8,800 in one of my refeeds. I don't think there was any episode of Breakfast where I did. I might have been in the 7,000s, in the low 7,000s, but that's about it. Typically, I come in at around 6,000 to 7,000 calories per refeed, which is why when I did 90s, I was always continuously losing weight. But for the last, what is it now? Almost 3 months or so, I've been doing 65-hour fasts. So now I can't take 8,800 in. The max I can take in is about 6,600 calories. Otherwise, if I do more than that, I'll gain weight. And I think that's also why if you look at the months of July and August, I only lost, I think it was about 2.5 pounds for those entire 2 months. The fact of the matter is I am still trying to lose weight while doing 65-hour fasts. If I went back and did 90-hour fasts, then yeah, I wouldn't probably weigh the food like I'm weighing now. And here's the thing too, is like I don't weigh every single refeed. I don't do it every time. But now that I am trying to cook at home and try to like find better foods that, I can eat, I'm trying to kind of change the mindset of how I'm eating and what I'm doing. And if anything, I'm trying to evolve what I'm doing. I think that's the way I'm trying to set this forth. I think as I've lost weight, so has the way I've been thinking about how I'm eating and what I'm doing. It doesn't mean that I don't want to eat, X amount of calories and disregard whatever, but I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to understand the process. I'm trying to better what I'm doing. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. I still want to eat pie. I still want to eat chips and guac. I still want to kind of eat what I enjoy. And I mean, I think you put in this comment about eating stress-free. And I'm trying to do all that. I'm just trying to give myself the tools to make sure that I continue like this journey to keep losing weight and to keep progressing. And just because like I am weighing food doesn't mean that you have to, especially if your journey isn't at that point. Because I could stop doing what I'm doing right now. I could just keep doing 65s. I could keep eating the way I'm eating. And I'm pretty sure I would just maintain weight, just like I have for the last 2 months or so. But the reason I'm starting to tweak things, the reason that I'm starting to look for lower calorie, denser foods is because I'm trying to figure ways to get fuller by not eating as much. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with weighing your food and knowing how many calories you're putting in. The one thing that I learned recently, and I wasn't even aware of this, is that the more protein you take in when it comes to macronutrients, the more calories it takes to digest that protein. I believe that's how it works. So it takes more calories to digest protein than it does fat or carbs, which is why a lot of people will eat foods that are higher in protein because it also, yes, it's also muscle sparing and it helps build muscle or whatever, however the term is, but it also, I guess, in effect, burns more calories. And that's something I didn't realize. It also made me buy protein powder because I was like, well, I should start incorporating that because I also want to build muscle. So these are the little tweaks that I'm doing to try to better the diet, better my exercise regimen. It's the reason that I picked this apartment on the top floor because I knew that walking more steps up and going down and going up would net me more calories burnt. It's the reason that I go for long walks, or sometimes if I have the energy, I'll do a little more, because I'm trying to do the things that will help me physically, like doing cardio and hopefully getting back into the gym and start lifting weights again. It's the reason that I sit in front of this computer and I try to read about and watch videos about health and fitness, because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to better my life. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yes, I know counting calories is a chore. It's a pain. I know there are a lot of people who don't want to do that, and I'm not telling people that they should. So Kevin ends this message that says, doing prolonged fasting gives us the freedom of stress-free eating. I refuse to ever reach a point of weighing food. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you know about how much you're putting in. I mean, if you don't want to weigh, there's no reason to do so as well. I didn't for a long time, but that was also because I was doing 90-hour fasts. If you decide to continue to do fasts that are longer, that will keep your maintenance number whenever you hit that, then that's great. But I know I can't do 90-hour fasts forever. And that's kind of why I switched to 65s, to keep me on a slower approach to losing weight, and then figuring out how to build muscle, and then learning the little tweaks of adjusting my diet, or figuring out what foods are better or what has better macronutrients, and learning something that I never learned before. The reason I started to cook, because I could have just kept going out to eat. When I would cook stuff before, I didn't realize a tablespoon of olive oil that I have is 120 calories. Before, I used to just drizzle it wherever, but I don't know. Again, I think people can approach it differently. It just depends on how long you fast, which is why I said the longer you fast, the less you really have to worry about counting your calories. But if you're also at a state where, like me, now that I've lost 90 pounds, I don't have that much excess body fat to lose. And there's going to be a point where now I'm going to need to keep myself at a certain weight or a certain number, or make sure that I'm not losing more than just body fat, because I don't want to be at a point where now I've lost so much weight, or I've lost, so much fat that it's become an issue, and I don't want to get there. This is all a learning process. I think it's all an evolution of who we are and what we do. And that's why I did talk about having a backup plan, because I know not everybody can do a 90-hour fast, a 65-hour fast, maybe even a 36-hour fast. And that's why I always talk about, if you're not able to do that, figure out how many calories you do need to take in a day, so you don't overdo it. So you have a solution if you're not able to do prolonged fasts. Because this is about me here, my journey, but going through the comments, talking to all of you guys, it makes me realize this is more than just about me at this point. This is about making sure that we share the right information, and we do the journey that works for us. And this is by no means this wasn't a way to. I'm talking to you, Kevin. This isn't me trying to come down or anything like that. I'm just trying to explain why I started to weigh food, why I want to know how much I'm putting in. I think I think having that knowledge is important. And it might not have been as important back when I weighed 90 more pounds, but at the level I'm at right now, I think I have to fine tune things, because I'm doing 65-hour fasts, but I'm still eating around 6,000 calories. I don't want to go over that number and start gaining weight. I still want to lose more. I still want to build muscle. And I've said it many times. I don't know everything, but I'm trying to learn. And it's one of the reasons I do that. So I know maybe longer of an answer or explanation than I needed to, but I just wanted to make sure I was kind of covering all the bases. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a chance, hit that like button. I know that sounds real cheesy and gimmicky, but it's a way to help the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. I also do have a Patreon if you do want to support in that way and help offset costs, but I'll throw it up as well if you want to check that out. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Please feel free to leave any questions or comments. I'll try to get back to everyone as soon as I can. I'll see you guys soon. All right. Bye. See you later.